It's playoff time in Minnesota Quiz Bowl, and in this quarterfinal match, we'll see the Burnsville Braves square off against the Rosemount Irish. It'll be exciting and impressive action. You won't want to miss any of it, so stay tuned. We'll be back after this timeout.
To another broadcast match of the Minnesota High School Quiz Bowl, a round-robin tournament featuring 40 teams from high schools throughout the greater metropolitan area. The Minnesota High School Quiz Bowl Incorporated receives administrative and operational support from the College of St. Thomas in St. Paul and from the law firm of Robbins, Kaplan, Miller, and Cerisi. Additional support is provided by the participating teams and New College, the undergraduate evening and weekend division of the College of St. Thomas. This program comes to you live from Minneapolis North Community High School and is produced by students in the television production program, part of the Arts and Communications Magnet of the Minneapolis Public Schools, and is simulcast on KBEM-FM 88.5. This broadcast is made possible with the assistance of Burger King, 2220 West Broadway, the Minneapolis Public Schools, the Department of Vocational Technical Education, the Department of Educational Media Services, the Arts and Communications Magnet at North Community High School, KBEM-FM 88.5, and Studio North Television. Transmission and distribution of this program is provided by MTN, the Minneapolis Television Network. And now, here is the moderator of the Minnesota High School Quiz Bowl, George Leiter.
Good evening. We begin tonight's quarterfinal action with these two 7-1 teams with these toss-up questions worth from 5 to 20 points. First team's a 10-pointer. Australian press baron Rupert Murdoch recently paid $4 million for a 50% stake in 2 newspapers. In which Eastern European country were these papers published?
Yuen, Rosemount.
East Germany?
That's incorrect. Burnsville, can you take it?
Shelstad, Burnsville.
Czechoslovakia.
No, it's Hungary. How about this 15-pointer, teams? Oliver Stone has become well known for his gripping films about the Vietnam War and its victims. One of his new projects, however, is not about the war, but about what Vietnam...
Yuen, Rosemount.
Ron Kovic.
No, I'll finish for Burnsville. What Vietnam-era rock band?
Anyone? Time.
That's the Doors. How about this 20-pointer? Who is currently being considered for the post of Surgeon General of the United States?
Anyone? Time.
A tough one there, Dr. Antonio C. Novello. 5-pointer. Huntington Beach, California has suffered serious damage due to what?
Burnsville.
That's right for 5. How about this 10-pointer, teams? The U.S. Coast Guard has been called a modern-day buccaneer after firing on a freighter suspected of transporting drugs. What nation levied this charge after its ship?
Burnsville.
Cuba.
Cuba is right for 10 points. Here's a 15-pointer. Atlanta Mayor Maynard Jackson was criticized after he made what unusual proposal to help control panhandling?
Cavanaugh, Burnsville.
License for beggars.
That's correct for 15 points. How about a 20-pointer? One would suspect that he was truly untouchable. What reputed...
Yuen, Rosemount.
Al Capone.
No, I'll finish for Burnsville. What reputed crime figure known as the Dapper Don was recently acquitted of all charges?
Burnsville.
John Gotti's right for 20 points. This 5-pointer now. The Peters brothers have made the headlines many times over the years. They are known for what unusual...
McAlpine, Rosemount.
Bonfires out of records.
That is correct for 5 points. For 10 points, the president of this organization, Sergeant Shriver, has announced that the Soviet Union will be sending its athletes...
Cavanaugh, Burnsville.
Score.
No, I'll finish for Rosemount. Will be sending its athletes to these events, already enjoyed by over 1 million participants. Which events?
Anyone? Yuen, Rosemount.
Boy Scouts.
No, it's the Special Olympics. Here's a 10-pointer. Because they are protected, little can be done to dissuade the hundreds of uninvited guests in the Pier 39 Marina from making themselves at home. What kind of animal is living it up in this pricey marina?
Anyone? Burnsville.
Manatees.
That's incorrect, Rosemount.
Rao, Rosemount.
Swallows.
No, it's sea lions. So that brings us to the end of the first quarter, and we find that after one period of play, we have a score with Burnsville and Rosemount. Burnsville's leading 50 to Rosemount's 5, but there are 3 quarters of action. Before we start that second quarter, let's meet our teams this evening. First, let's meet the team from Burnsville.
My name is Matt Ide. I'm a senior at Burnsville. My name is Libby Norrie. I'm a senior at Burnsville.
My name is Cavanaugh. I'm a senior at Burnsville, and I'd like to wish the Braves luck in their hockey match tomorrow night and the swimmers at Hamlin.
My name's Jeff Shelstad. I'm a senior at Burnsville.
And there's the team from Burnsville. Now let's meet the Irish of Rosemount.
Hi, I'm Heather. I'm Heather Hokenson. I'm a junior at Rosemount.
Hi, my name's Sid Rao, and I'm a senior at Rosemount.
My name's Brett McAlpine, and I'm a senior at Rosemount. I'd like to thank all our listeners tonight from the good publicity at school today.
Hi, I'm Edwin Yuen. I'm a junior at Rosemount, and I'd like to say this team is supercharged by the Super and Easy Grip 500 cross-reading pencil.
And there's the team from Rosemount. They're being coached this evening by Don Gerlach and Mary Keuttner. And also at my side tonight and helping me with the close calls is that hero of the U of M's College Bowl team, Tim Varecka. Tim will help us with the close calls tonight. And now let's get right into our second quarter of play, where 10-point toss-ups will earn teams bonus questions worth from 15 to 30 points. Teams, let's start with this 10-pointer. A large banana that's almost always cooked before being eaten is called what?
Norrie, Burnsville.
The black one.
Can we do that, Judge?
Yes.
Yes, we can. Well, we'll take that, or the plantain. And let's go on now to this bonus question for Burnsville. The Webster-Ashburton Treaty of 1842 fixed the United States, this is a bonus for Burnsville, Canada boundary between two disputed locations. First, for 5 points, what two U.S. states were affected by the treaty?
Answer, please.
Minnesota and Maine.
That's correct, for a total of 10. And for finally another 5 points, what is the name of the portion of Minnesota that is now the northernmost part of the contiguous United States?
Northwest Angle.
No, we need Lake of the Woods there. But 10 points on that bonus question. Now let's go to another 10-point toss-up. In 1951, General Douglas MacArthur was recalled from his command. Who issued this recall?
Shelstad, Burnsville.
President Harry Truman.
That is correct for 10 points, and here's your bonus question. For 10 points apiece, give me the English translation of these poorly pronounced Jules Verne works. Le Tour du Monde en 80 jours.
Answer, please.
A tour of the
Time.
That's around the world in 80 days. How about 20 000 lieues sous les mers?
Answer. Time.
And that's 20,000 leagues under the sea. Let's go on now to this 10-point toss-up. Is the word tolerant closest to disgusted, indelible, unbiased, or distraught?
Cavanaugh, Burnsville.
Unbiased.
That is correct for 10 points, and that earns you this bonus question. For 5 points apiece, name the countries where these changes of government occurred. First, the overthrow of the Batista government.
No, Haiti. No.
Answer, please.
Cuba.
Cuba is correct. And for another 5, the overthrow of the Somoza government.
Nicaragua.
That's correct. And finally, for 5, the overthrow of the Duvalier government.
Haiti.
Haiti.
That's all 3 right for 15 points for Burnsville. Let's go now to this 10-pointer. In which novel by Graham Greene, set in Mexico during a revolution, is Father Montez, a whiskey priest, the hero?
Anyone. Yuen, Rosemount.
Good, the bad, the ugly.
That's incorrect, Burnsville.
Anyone? Time.
That's The Power and the Glory. Here's another 10-pointer, teams. 2 major categories account for everything that is produced by the economy. One of these is goods.
Cavanaugh, Burnsville.
Services.
Services is right for 10, and here's your bonus. Among the constellations, the lion is called Leo and the scorpion is called Scorpio. What do the astronomers call, first for 5 points, the swan?
Answer, please. Time.
That's Cygnus. And for 15 points, the rabbit.
Answer.
No answer.
That's a tough one. That's the lepus. All right, let's go now to a 10-point toss-up for both teams. Consider the set of numbers of representatives that each of the U.S. states sends to the House. What is the mode of this set of numbers?
Yuen, Rosemount.
Population.
No, Burnsville, can you take it?
Anyone? I, Burnsville.
Geometric.
No, it's 2. There are 2. The most common number is 2 because 7 states have 2 representatives. That's the mode. Let's go now to this 10-pointer. From what astrological sign do we get our abbreviation for pounds?
Norrie, Burnsville.
Libra is correct, LBS. There's your 10-pointer, and here's your bonus. The 3 King Richards of England were not a successful lot. For 10 points apiece, which figured prominently in Sir Walter Scott's Ivanhoe?
Second.
Richard II.
No, that's Richard I. Another 10-pointer. Which was a patron of Geoffrey Chaucer?
Try second.
Answer?
Richard II.
That is Richard II. And finally, which King Richard was not deposed by force and murdered?
Yeah.
Answer.
Richard the Lionhearted.
No, it's Richard I.
No, look, so.
Oh, Richard the Lionhearted, all right. That judge knows best. That's 20 points then on that bonus for you. And we go now to this 10-pointer. For 10 points, what term describes a solution that has dissolved all the solute?
Rao, Rosemount.
Saturated.
Saturated's right for 10 points, and here's Rosemount's bonus. I'll name the Shakespearean character, and for 10 points apiece, you name the play. First, Brutus.
It's Julius Caesar.
That's correct. Caliban.
The Tempest.
That's correct. And finally, Katerina.
Taming of the Shrew.
That's right, for 30 quick points for Rosemount. Let's go now to another 10-point toss-up. You might need your pencils as I ask you. The simple interest rate on a 3-month loan of $160 is $1.80. What is the annual rate of interest?
Anyone? Rao, Rosemount.
9%.
That's correct, Burnsville. Can you take it?
Anyone? I, Burnsville.
1.25%.
No, that's 4.5%. So let's go now to this 10-point toss-up. The classical find of Homo erectus was made in China. The species is thought to be about 400,000 years old and the first creature that used fire. What is this creature's?
McAlpine, Rosemount.
Peking Man.
Peking Man is correct for 10 points, and here's your bonus. Write down the names of these cabinet departments: Defense, Agriculture, Energy, Justice. For 5 points each, classify the following agencies. First, the Antitrust Division.
That's in justice.
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 That's right. The Food Stamp Program.
Agriculture.
Agriculture.
That's correct. Rural Electrification Administration.
Energy.
That's Agriculture. And finally, the Strategic Air Command.
That's defense.
Defense.
That's right. 15 points on that bonus for Rosemount. And now to a 10-point toss-up. What is the position of the arms, body, and feet adopted by fencers who are preparing for a bout?
Cavanaugh, Burnsville.
Stance.
No. Can you take it, Rosemount?
McAlpine, Rosemount.
A fighting position.
It's on guard or en garde. Let's go now to another 10-pointer. In music, what term applies to the notes of a chord when they are played one after another?
McAlpine, Rosemount.
Arpeggio.
That is correct for 10 points, and here's your bonus. The subject is an A in history for 5 points. What 14-letter word is used? We finished the bonus at the end of the quarter now for Rosemount since we started. Is used to identify the entire term of office of any U.S. president.
Administration.
That's right for 5. For another 5. What was the occupation of presidential assassin John Wilkes Booth? That is correct. And finally, what is the term for the period before the flood described in the Bible?
Answer, please.
The Adam and Eve period.
That's the antediluvian period. Antediluvian period. But that ends the half. We're going to take just a second to tally our score, and we'll have that back for you right after we take this time out.
The Minnesota High School Quiz Bowl Incorporated receives administrative and operational support from the College of St. Thomas in St. Paul and from the law firm of Robbins, Kaplan, Miller, and Cerisi. Additional support is provided by the participating teams and New College, the undergraduate evening and weekend division of the College of St. Thomas. This broadcast is made possible with the assistance of Burger King, 2220 West Broadway, the Minneapolis Public Schools, the Department of Vocational Technical Education, the Department of Educational Media Services, the Arts and Communications Magnet at North Community High School, KBEM FM 88.5, and Studio North Television. Transmission and distribution of this program is provided by MTN, the Minneapolis Television Network.
We're back and ready for the second half, but first let's check the score. At the end of one half, we find that Burnsville leads 145 to Rosemont's 90. Let's see what happens in the second half of play. Again, we start with 10-point toss-ups that earn teams bonus questions. Teams for 10 points. Identify the hero of Upton Sinclair's series of novels.
Anyone. Yuen, Rosemount.
Little George.
That's incorrect. Burnsville, can you take it?
Shellstad, Burnsville.
Miriam.
No, the answer there is Lanny Budd. How about this 10-pointers, teams? What is the positive square root of the quotient when 169 is divided by 144?
Rao, Rosemount.
13 twelfths or 1 1/12.
That is correct for 10 points. And let's go to the bonus now about Africa. For 10 points, first Rosemount. In this list, the westernmost African nation is Cameroon, Kenya, Angola, Mauritania, or Mozambique.
Cameroon.
No, that's Mauritania. And another 10-pointer, what is the first African country invaded by any of the Axis powers?
Ethiopia.
Ethiopia is correct. Very good for 10 points. Let's go now to another 10-pointer. Again, a math question. What is the base 10 logarithm of 10,000?
Rao, Rosemount.
That is correct for 10 points. And your subject now is machinery for 5 points apiece. A tooth-edged gear or cone used in machinery to transmit motion is called what?
Gear. No, it's a gear.
A gear.
That is correct for 5 points.
Throw that out.
I'm sorry, Judge says throw that one out. Pioneers often use a device which consists of a crossbar with two U-shaped pieces that encircle the necks of a pair of oxen. Name this device.
It's a collar.
A yoke.
Yoke is correct. And finally, for 5 points, what do we call the apparatus which includes the change gear and the propeller shaft, which carries power to the rear axle?
Drive train.
And we need transmission there. So you get 5 points on that bonus, and let's go now to another 10-pointer. In 1966, 2 special Emmys were given for engineering developments. One was the instant replay, and the other was for a satellite that allowed messages to span the globe instantly. Name that satellite.
Yuen, Rosemount.
No, that's incorrect. Burnsville, can you take it?
Shellstad, Burnsville.
Comsat.
No, it's Early Bird, but 2 good guesses. Let's go now to another 10-pointer. Medieval law allowed a suit to be settled by bloody individual combat. What is the last?
Norrie, Burnsville.
Duel.
No, I'll finish now. What is the last century in which an English court of law settled a suit between accused and accusers by combat?
Yuen, Rosemount.
20th.
No, it's 19th. Here's another 10-pointer, teams. The major language of Finland is, of course, Finnish, but Finland has a second language which has official status. What Scandinavian language is it?
Ide, Burnsville.
Swedish.
Swedish is correct for 10 points, and here's your bonus. Identify the subject of these biographies, all prominent figures of the 20th century. First, for 5 points, one brief shining moment.
Kennedy.
Kennedy.
That is correct. Another 5-pointer. Papa.
Hemingway. I know.
Hemingway.
That is correct. For 10 points, blackjack.
Answer, please.
Jackie Robinson.
Jackie Robinson.
No, that's Persian. And finally, for 10 points, look homeward.
Alex Haley.
Haley.
No, that was Thomas Wolfe. But you did get 10 points on that bonus, and that takes us now to this 10-point toss-up. It is a contradictory combination of words, such as...
Ide, Burnsville.
Moron.
That is right, like little giant or jumbo shrimp. And here's your bonus question. For 5 points each, identify these people and things associated with fools. First, according to the song by Lennon and McCartney, he was a man of 1,000 voices talking perfectly loud.
Fool in love.
A fool in love.
No, that's the fool on the hill. How about the conical headgear worn by unruly children?
Beanie.
Answer, please.
Dunce cap.
That's fine, fool's cap. And finally, a fool and his what are soon parted?
Money.
That's right, 10 points on that bonus. And we go now to this toss-up question. For 10 points, clean and unclean birds, purifying the house and cleansing a leper, are covered in what old...
Cavanaugh, Burnsville.
Leviticus.
Leviticus is right for 10 points. Very good. And we go now to the Euro bonus. Listen to these clever couplets in the field of Bible geography and give me the answers. For 5 points, 7 times they marched around the town, and lo, the walls came tumbling down.
Jericho.
That is correct. For 10 points, a marriage feast, a lack of wine, a guest who proved himself divine.
Just
Answer, please.
Jerusalem.
That's Cana. And finally, for 15 points, the land where Jewess rose to power and saved her race in a tragic hour.
Okay. Canaan.
Canaan.
That was Persia. That's Esther there on that tough one. That was 5 points, though, for Burnsville on that one. And we go now to another toss-up for 5 points. Despite what it sounds like, you catch fish, not mythical dwarves. What are you doing when you drag your line behind a...
Eyed, Burnsville.
Trolling is right, behind a moving boat. That's 10 points, and here's your subject bonus, and the subject is a C in science. For 5 points, the biological adaptation of blending into the environment is known by what term?
Camouflage.
Camouflage.
That's right for 5. For 5 points, the nickname mare's tails apply to what kind of clouds?
Cirrus.
Cirrus.
That is correct for 5. And finally, what part of the intestines are known as ascending, transverse, and descending?
Colon.
That's right, so all 15 points in that bonus for Burnsville. Here's your 10-point toss-up teams. For 10 points, all of the following would be classifications of what to a botanist? Fibrous, fleshy, aerial.
Shelstad, Burnsville.
Roots.
Noah finished for Rosemount. Tuberous or tap?
McAlpine, Rosemount.
Roots.
Roots is correct for 10 points, and here's your bonus. The subject on this one is bears for 5 points. What movie starred Walter Matthau as coach of a Little League baseball team?
Bad News Bears.
That's right for 5. What kind of bear is considered the best swimmer?
Polar bears.
That is correct. What Chicago Bear holds the all-time NFL rushing record?
Walter Payton.
That's right. And over what state did the bear flag fly?
California.
That's right. You got 20 points for Rosemount on that one. And that takes us to the end of the third quarter. Oh, it does not. We're going to have a few more questions before we hit the end of the third quarter. Let's now give you another 10-point toss-up then. For 10 points, William Tweed was the leader of the Tweed Ring, the boss of Tammany Hall. To help destroy these crooked... There is the end of the quarter. And Thomas Nast, the cartoonist, was the answer, if you were wondering. Before we go into our fourth quarter of rapid questions, let's take a second to check the score. Burnsville leads 225 to 155. Let's see what happens in a fourth quarter of rapid-fire questions. Teams, let's begin. For 5 points, what continent contains the most tropical rainforest?
Eyed, Burnsville.
South America.
You can't take it, Rosemount.
McAlpine,
South
Rosemount.
America.
South America is right for 5. For 5 points, south of Zaire and in the Horn of Africa, or on the western bulge of Africa. In which of these 3 places is Somalia?
McAlpine, Rosemount.
The
Time.
Eastern.
Eyed, Burnsville.
Horn of Africa.
The Horn of Africa is right for 5. For 15 points, Manitoba, Saskatchewan, and Alberta are Canada's prairie provinces. Which 3 make up the Canadian Maritime provinces?
Kavanaugh, Burnsville.
New Brunswick, Prince Edward Island, and Newfoundland.
No, can you take it, Rosemount?
Anyone. McEwen, Rosemount.
Prince Edward Island, Newfoundland, and Quebec.
No, Nova Scotia is the one you missed there, New Brunswick and Prince Edward Island for 5 points. His first was invented for the Columbian Exposition of 1893. His purpose was to give patrons a thrill-filled ride. Who was the inventor of this wheel, now an amusement park?
Shelstad, Burnsville.
Mr. Ferris.
That is right, Gail Ferris for 5 points. For 15 points, Mother Teresa gained international attention for her work among the poor in what city?
Kavanaugh, Burnsville.
New Delhi.
No, that's incorrect.
Rao, Rosemount.
Calcutta.
Calcutta is right for 15 points. For 20 points, what city, now located in Turkey, was the ancient capital of Syria?
Anyone. Eyed, Burnsville.
Antioch.
That is correct for 20 points. For 10 points, in which city is the Pushkin Art Museum?
Kavanaugh, Burnsville.
Leningrad.
That's incorrect. Can you take it, Rosemount?
Anyone. Hokenson,
St.
Rosemount.
Petersburg.
No, it's in Moscow. For 5 points, after World War II, Russia was able to seize control of all the following countries except Hungary, Romania, Yugoslavia, or Czechoslovakia.
Kavanaugh, Burnsville.
Yugoslavia.
That's correct for 5. For 20 points, what is the derivative of 1 over x?
Rao, Rosemount.
-1 over x squared.
That is correct for 20 points. For 10 points, the Sherman Antitrust Act is the most notable bill passed to restrict monopolies. Was it passed during the administration of Benjamin Harrison?
Rao, Rosemount.
Incorrect. Burnsville, can you?
Cavanaugh, Burnsville.
McKinley.
No, it was Benjamin Harrison. For 10 points, named after a Scottish clan, these sweaters and socks have diamond-shaped patterns that often come.
Norrie, Burnsville.
Argyle.
Argyle's right for 10 points. For 10 points, built in Chicago in 1883, the Home Insurance Building is an important structure in history and of architecture. Why?
Cavanaugh, Burnsville.
First skyscrapers.
Judge.
We'll give it
Well,
to you.
it is the first skyscraper for 10 points. For 15 points, the property that links a change in temperature to the actual heat exchange is called what?
Anyone. Shelstad, Burnsville.
Pacific Heat.
That's excellent for 15. For 15, Voltaire called him an English Rabelais for his outlandish satires.
McAlpine, Rosemount.
Pope.
No, I'll finish. Who was this 18th century Anglo-Irish writer and dean of St.
Cavanaugh, Burnsville.
Swift.
Swift is right for 15. For 15 points, Chile is one of two South American countries that does not border Brazil. What is the other?
Ide, Burnsville.
Ecuador.
That is right for 15 points. For 5 points, what did the wolf say to each of the three little pigs?
Yuen, Rosemount.
Come out or I'll blow your house down.
No, can't take it, Burnsville.
Norrie, Burnsville.
Little pig, let me come in.
No, we were looking for I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house down. For 15 points, this branch of science deals with the chemical reactions that take place in living organisms.
Ide, Burnsville.
Organic chemistry.
No, can you take it?
Rao.
Biochemistry
Wait to be
is correct
recognized.
for 15 points. And that brings us to the end of a thrill-packed fourth quarter. We'll tabulate that final score for you and have it for you right after you watch this.
All questions on the Minnesota Quiz Bowl are purchased from Questions Unlimited of Columbus, Ohio. Access to these questions by participating teams and their coaches is prohibited, nor do the teams have any idea as to the type or general nature of the questions. The producers put a great deal of faith in the knowledge of today's young people here on the Minnesota Quiz Bowl.
We're back, and I hope you're impressed with both the speed and the knowledge of these 8 scholars. Let's check our final score of tonight's quarterfinal contest. At the end of all 4 quarters of play, we find that Burnsville and Rosemount have finished up with a final score of 325 for Burnsville and 210 for Rosemount. Over 500 points. Those are 2 teams that know a lot about a lot of stuff. That's the first of our quarterfinal matches, and there is the rest of our quarterfinal action. Burnsville will face the winner of Blake and Hill Murray. That Blake-Hill Murray match will take place at 6:30. St. Thomas and Edina at 7:30, and St. Paul Academy will be taking on another team that's now disappeared at 8:30. You won't want to miss this or next Wednesday's semifinal and final action. We'll see you at 6:30 for our next exciting match. Until then, this is George Leiter saying so long.
And by New College, the undergraduate evening and weekend division of the College of St. Thomas. This program was made possible with the assistance of Burger King, 2220 West Broadway, the Minneapolis Public Schools, the Department of Vocational Technical Education, the Department of Educational Media Services, the Arts and Communications Magnet at North Community High School, KBEM FM 88.5, and Studio North Television. Transmission and distribution of this program is provided by MTN, the Minneapolis Television Network. This program came to you live from Minneapolis North Community High School and was produced by students in the television production program, part of the Arts and Communications Magnet of the Minneapolis Public Schools, and was simulcast on KBEM FM 88.5. The coordinator of the Minnesota High School Quiz Bowl is Vicki Griggs. The executive producer is David Nielsen. The production coordinator is Paul Kelly. The producer is Wendy Baker. Be sure to join us next time for another broadcast match of the Minnesota High School Quiz Bowl.